Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Strata Data in New York City. I'm here with David Tishgart. David, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good. So this morning, Mike Olson talked a little bit about something you guys have just announced, SDX. Can you give us a little more insights into what that is?
Yeah, sure. We're really excited about SDX, and we did talk about it today, but SDX is actually part of our core platform today, and we've got over 1,000 customers that are using it in production. SDX is an acronym. It stands for Shared Data Experience, and what we're really trying to do is give customers the ability to develop, deploy multi-function applications in a consistently secure and governed manner. So why that's important is increasingly applications are becoming more and more complex. And we see that in a bunch of keynotes today. We saw the use cases from preventative maintenance, human genomics, robotics. All of these applications, they use a ton of data, right? And there's data that's moving all over the place. There is data that is being used for, there's data engineering that takes place for ETL. There is analytics that go on. There's real-time operations. There's streaming data. All of these different applications in traditional architectures, they function in silos. And when you have data silos, that means that the data that resides in that silo has its own schema, has its own set of security policies, its own set of governance. So in order for you to really create more of a platform effect where you can have multiple applications running against the same set of data, you really need to break down those silos, and that's what SDX does. It eliminates data silos and creates a shared experience where multiple analytic applications can run on a shared set of data that's consistent, that has the same security, and has the same governance policies associated with it.
And does geography matter here? I mean, can I have my silo in Beijing and my silo in Rio and my silo in New York, and the SDX is going to bring that together?
That's what's so exciting about SDX, is it really doesn't matter where your data is. This is all about empowering everywhere, anywhere data for everyone, really. So you've got, you can have data stored up in an S3 bucket in the cloud. You can have data in Azure Data Lake. You can have data on HDFS, and you have data in Kudu. It doesn't really matter where your data is. With Cloudera SDX, you set the policies on the data. You set the security and governance policies on the data. We've got a common catalog, a shared data catalog that allows those policies and the data context, because that's really what we're talking about, is the data context. The context remains with the data so that no matter where the data lives, it's got all those policies and all the information about the data wrapped up inside of it. So as long as the analytic application can access that data, you've got the experience that you want.
And is there any hit in performance because we're able to bring all these together from silos?
No, absolutely not. In fact, we hear from customers, and one of the reasons they love Cloudera is because they don't have to operate in silos. And when you've got this shared experience, what we're talking about is the ability to develop much faster, because you're working, you've got all of your applications being brought to bear at the same time. There's not, there's not an issue of I've got to wait for this ETL cluster to finish doing its job before I can run my analytics. You can do both of them at the same time with the same shared set of data, and so you're empowering self-service. And when you empower self-service, you're gonna be able to develop and bring products to market more quickly. And the other thing it does is it also helps reduce cost, because now you're not dealing with data silos anymore. And there's an expense for every silo that you set up, right? Every bespoke application has a cost to it. Here, if you've got a common platform, there's one expense that you're dealing with. And then it also helps really reduce risk, because now you've got governance and security policy that travel with the data, so you can be sure, your compliance office, your security office can be sure that the right people are going to be able to access only the data that they need, that there's an audit trail that's associated with the data. So if you are ever audited, you know where the data's been, who's touched it, the types of transformations, the applications that have used it. And increasingly we see this really as use cases multiply in environments and often move from, the first use cases are often cases where a company is trying to try and reduce risk or create efficiencies. Those are the saving, defensive type strategies. It's cost saving. It's taking risk out of the business. That's often an initial use case. So they'll be operating on a set pool of data for those particular use cases. And then what we'll see over time is companies start realizing that there's actually value in that data and that they can use similar data that's used to maybe reduce risk or to take down costs. They can take that same data and apply it towards a use case that drives profit, that boosts revenue, that increases customer lifetime value. It's really important for the data that was operating over here to look consistent with the data that's over there, and there needs to be a governance an audit string attached to that data.
And will this SDX work with IoT data and data at the very edge of things? I mean, is it going to work for that as well?
That's an excellent use case for that. So in Mike's keynote today, we heard from Navistar. Navistar's been a customer of ours for quite some time now, and they've got a tremendous preventative maintenance use case that they discussed on stage. And this is a use case that ballooned over time from a handful of trucks to now over 300,000 plus vehicles. And now what they're doing is they're looking at use cases that go beyond just unplanned downtime to autonomous vehicles. So you see the use cases changing over time. The application's getting bigger and more complex, and they're using SDX. To make all that happen. They're using SDX to govern the data, to make sure that it's secure, and they've got the common catalog to know that the data that's being applied to this use case is also being applied there, and that it meets the standards that it needs to meet.
Excellent. So, David, if we sat down 12 months from now, we have this conversation, and I ask you, how's the journey been with SDX? Yeah. What do you hope to be saying?
I hope to be saying it's up in the clouds. It really is. That is where SDX is heading, and where we see the greatest need for a shared data experience is in cloud platforms today. So right now, today, our customers can get multi-cluster governance, multi-cluster security, and multi-cluster catalog, and that's really, really important. Ultimately, what we want to do is knock down all the data silos that we can. In cloud, particularly, this is difficult to do. If you're operating, with certain cloud house offerings, and you're using some of their data processing engines, that's going to write data down to a data store. In order for you to run analytics on that same pool of data, you've actually got to extract that data and move it to another proprietary file system for you to do those analytics. That takes time, it costs money, and it creates governance risk. With SDX, you can run the same application, the data engineering and the data processing application, drop that data down into your object store, and then run your analytics on that same data. So this is really revolutionary, and we're really excited to bring it to our customers.
Excellent. We look forward to that conversation next year.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike.
David.